Good day, everybody. We're coming to you live from Innovate for Climate here in Frankfurt. It's a global meeting of innovators in finance, technology, investment, business, as well as a policy framework. My name is Max Atkins from the Connect for Climate program, and I've got the great pleasure to be in discussion with Wayne Sharpe. Wayne Sharpe is the CEO and founder of GMT and CTX. So maybe just tell us a little bit.
Good to see you again.
Thank you for joining us. So maybe just tell us a little bit, what is a carbon trade exchange, CTX?
Well, Carbon Trade Exchange is a voluntary market platform for trading offsets, carbon credits. And I started that about 10 years ago now. I had come into the market from a business-to-business exchange background, having run a company called Bartercard for 21 years. During my tenure at that company, which I founded, we ran about $40 billion worth of trade through that network, and we had at one point 136 offices in 20 countries. We had hundreds of thousands of business clients, and so I understood very well how trading between businesses had to take place. When I first got into the environmental space, out of the passion to do something for climate change, I came to the first of these events, which at that stage was Carbon Expo, and to me it was like a modern-day medieval market, with everyone bringing their chickens and goats along. And I thought, have they not heard of the internet? Have they not heard of electronic trading? So, to me, this became obvious that what we had done in the barter industry could transmit into the carbon industry. But I realised that the carbon market's quite unique. It's different. It's not the same as any other commodity. It's not the same as any other financial instrument. There are certain similarities. It's certainly not exactly the same as a barter transaction, although it is closer, because in a barter transaction, you're trading effectively like a promissory note for delivery of goods and services generally. So that's how Carbon Trade Exchange eventuated. And then we were asked to build other environmental instruments platforms, and that became the genesis in 2010 for me to create a new parent company called Global Environmental Markets, which builds exchange technology, not only the Carbon Trade Exchange platforms, but also other environmental instruments as well.
Absolutely, and we're actually in a really exciting time right now where the carbon markets are evolving under the framework of the Paris Agreement, and we're discussing and negotiating the Paris Agreement framework as well as the rule book. So, in light of that, what are you working on? What kind of registries, what kind of technologies do we need to ensure that we are ready for whatever new markets come into play in the near future?
Well, I think, look, having been, I went to my first COP in Bali in 2007, and everyone thought that, we'll put red into the system and we'll save the planet and the forests. Well, guess what? We haven't done either, really. So the fact of the matter is that there's way too much discussion and procrastination, in my view, at the UN level, the intergovernment level. Why this is a political issue is beyond me. I mean, we all live on the same planet, we all got to breathe the same air in the end, and we're all going to live or die by the same outcomes. So the reality is that action is required, and the only people who are really going to take action is business, and business has to be incentivised, and if they need a stick and a carrot, then I think that's what government should be doing. Maybe they need a bigger stick in some cases instead of playing politics and pandering to fossil fuels. But the important thing is business has the ability to make decisions, to take action. There still isn't enough of it. Obviously here we're preaching to the converted, one would think, in that this is the carbon market meeting together to collaborate, hopefully, and work out how to make more effective outcomes together.
But that's also why we're going live on Facebook, to get those messages out to a broader audience.
Exactly.
And so what are these key ingredients to make sure that the carbon markets incentivize businesses going forward?
Well, look, I think that one of the things that's been lacking and which we are trying to stimulate is to have the right types of recognition for action by companies that aren't obligated to take action. I mean, the amount of resistance I see from some parts of the sectors that are causing the problem of global warming is blows my mind. I mean, you know, there's all sorts of ways they can be more profitable if they engage properly in the sector. But there's a lot of voluntary action, and it's because of that voluntary action that we were able to create the first link last year, which we announced, the link with the UNFCCC. Now, that allowed us to take UNFCCC CDM credits, or Certified Emission Reduction, CERs, out to the voluntary marketplace at scale. Now, sure, the UN does this itself on its own Climate Neutral Now platform, but it's really more of a retail type solution rather than a wholesale solution, which is what carbon trade exchange is. So this is where we can do it at scale. Now, obviously, that has since gone live. So when we spoke last, we had only announced the deal with Nicholas at last year's event. It took us 3 months to finalise the technology and the interfaces, and that's now live and operational. So now what this does, it opens up the CDM or UNFCCC certified offsets to the voluntary marketplace for commercial business to be able to take action.
Fantastic.
The next step is we need regional markets. Regional markets is the only way I believe we're going to create international linkages. At this stage, it's been discussed, and I think everyone who's been in the market for some time would know that for the last 23 years, they've been talking about carbon markets and linkages, and they talk about how you link these markets. Technically, it's actually not that difficult. The only complex part is the rules. But if you look at the regions within the world, Asia, for example, if we perhaps push China to one side, the Pacific region, the Caribbean, South America, these regions, North America even, these regions have the ability to collaborate more readily because they already have unique, close-knit trading relationships outside of the carbon market. So it's not so difficult for them to communicate. They're trading with each other all the time. They have bilateral agreements for all types of trade. So we have designed and built already a regional carbon registry technology and an exchange technology, which can be either coupled or decoupled. Now, what this means is that you can have one centralised registry with subcomponents for each different country within a region. They're already intrinsically linked thereby. We can bring into that registry and to the linked exchange any type of environmental instrument. So it can be a regulated carbon instrument, can be an allowance, can be voluntary carbon, and obviously each one is could be renewable energy certificates, water certificates, biomass.
Absolutely.
You name it.
And so maybe on that note, if you could also just touch upon your plans to use the blockchain as a technology to help facilitate the carbon markets and help ease the trading of carbon credits.
Look, I think that there's a lot of misconception about the blockchain activity in the secure financial instrument space. Because at this stage, everyone is making the assumption that you can build an exchange technology on blockchain, which I don't think it's been through sufficient rigour, testing and robust resistance to all sorts of penetration in order to say that I would be wanting to trade high-level financial instruments of any kind on a blockchain infrastructure. Because it hasn't been tested yet, and it's not until people start trading something of high value, it will get tested. And I believe it could well be found wanting. I mean, someone told me yesterday that they were told that 14% of Bitcoin had been effectively stolen out of registries or accounts. I mean, that's outrageous. But of course, you know, they can recreate it relatively easily. Carbon is a different commodity, which everyone says, well, we want to try and deliver this from blockchain, and that's true. But what I believe and what we are designed and building is a centralised exchange and registry technology built on the legacy infrastructure so that it can interface with the existing marketplace. We've never had any penetration. We've never had a fraudulent transaction, in fact, ever in 10 years.
Well,
right?
that's fantastic.
And then we link with the blockchain.
Yeah.
Right? So what we do is we're making it blockchain compatible rather than blockchain infrastructure, which is a different thing. Now, that doesn't mean the market won't one day have a blockchain infrastructure exchange technology. I'm not suggesting that's the case. However, I don't think we're there yet. And it's a bit like when the internet first came out, everyone went, wow, wow, wow. Well, the reality is not everything suddenly automatically transitioned to the internet. So I see that blockchain technology in the carbon markets will be an evolution, not a revolution.
Absolutely. And on that note, we are seeing evolution in the carbon markets. Blockchain will be integrated at a further stage, but we're not quite there yet. Thank you so very much for joining us live on the Connect for Climate platform for the live interviews here at Innovate for Climate. We've heard it from Wayne. The carbon markets are there, and there's a lot of excitement.
They're alive and kicking, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much.